Do I sound like that alien? The club. Hi guys, it's Seho, and I have a cold. And I'm freaking miserable. It's not the COVID. It is a nasally, sinusy cold. I've been trying my dangest not to allow it to go to my chest. I thought that now would be a great time to talk about some things that I learned about colds and some things that I already use to try to ease my symptoms and speed my cold along. So anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. Like, first of all, coronavirus is such an umbrella term, and I don't know how many of you actually know that. Like, coronavirus, we associate with this, it's the COVID-19, the novel coronavirus. However, a lot of rhinoviruses that affect this area, basically the common cold, are a coronavirus. SARS was a coronavirus. They're just different kinds of it. And I read a statistic the other day that said, like, the average adult will experience about 3 a year, and the average child will experience about 4 or 5 a year. And that's just because their immune system's weaker than ours. We haven't built an immunity up to these. And these are like ever-changing viruses. And they call them coronaviruses because they're like shaped like the sun, right? Like a ball with a lot of little, I might put a visual aid in if I can find a decent one. There's no cure for the common cold. You just have to ride it out. And I'm a big giant baby when it comes to the common cold, for one. And for two, this one's hitting me really hard anyway. I'm on the upswing, I can tell. I started feeling better this afternoon than I had been. You cannot treat a cold with antibiotics because antibiotics target bacteria, not viruses. And that may seem like some junior high level science to you, but a lot of people don't know that. If an antibiotic could target a virus, we wouldn't have as much trouble as we do with this current coronavirus, or like AIDS even, or anything like that, because there's no way to kill it off. I'm not going to get into a deep science lesson because I remember this being like my favorite thing to learn about in biology, because we all know that I'm going to talk a lot, and I don't know how much voice I have to use. So I've got some notes on my tablet, and I want to just talk to you about what the common cold is, and then I'm going to show you what I use and why. So basically, a cold it's an inflammation of the membranes of your nose and throat. And then once it travels into your chest and becomes a chest cold, then you're looking at something like bronchitis. However it's spread is it's airborne, and you get droplets of that on you or in this general area, which is why we all had to wear masks, right? Then, your body produces a mucus to flush that out. You have a runny nose to an extent always, but your body produces extra histamine when you start becoming infected with a cold, because it's trying to flush that out. So that's why you have a runny nose. So basically, when you get a fever, when you're sick, and you have a runny nose, the shortened version of it is your blood is producing extra white blood cells to fight off the infection, and your body is also producing extra histamine to make your nose run, to flush that out. So your nose is supposed to run. The problem is, when you're as sick as I am, then you go through 2 boxes of flipping Kleenex every day, and your nose is raw, and you have to put petroleum jelly on it because coconut oil doesn't work anymore. So that's the basics of it. Everyone's at risk of getting a cold because you build up an immunity like to the one you have already had, but there are like hundreds of thousands of different variations, and they evolve too, so you can't get the same strain more than once, or at least that's my understanding, but you're going to get several colds in your life. And what really has me frustrated is I was really sick the end of January of 2020. I was really sick. In fact, some of my friends are convinced that I had COVID-19 then, but I don't think that I did. I think I just had a bad cold. And then I quit smoking, and I was in like lockdown, basically working from home. And I really followed all the rules about wearing a mask, and I got vaccinated and all of that. And I haven't had a head cold whatsoever since then. And I was so excited, and I think a little part of me was like thinking that I would never have another one because I did so good or whatever. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Just because I did that does not make me immune to ever having a cold again. So this list, I have a little list here of like symptoms of the common cold. So you have a stuffy, runny nose, a scratchy, tickly throat, sneezing, watering eyes, a low-grade fever, a sore throat, a mild hacking cough, achy muscles and bones, headache, mild fatigue, chills, and watery discharge from the nose that thickens or turns yellow or green. So I didn't have that last one this time. And I haven't had, well, I was going to say I haven't really had a cough, but today I've been coughing a little bit. So I said to myself, you do not want to have this turn into a chest cold. And it always does. And so, number one, this is the first cold I've gotten since I've quit smoking. So I hate to even imagine how much worse it would have been if I was still smoking. And number two, what is the biggest way to prevent a cold from turning into a chest cold? And so what I found out was something that I've actually been doing the opposite of since forever. If you've listened to any of my videos, because I always have a stuffy nose because I'm allergic to the world, is sniffing. Only with your nostrils, you know, sniffing. Don't sniff it in. Don't sniff it back in, because what that does is it sends like micro particles of that mucus down into your lungs through your airway, and that's what infects your lungs, and that's how a head cold becomes a chest cold. So I have, and I'm not saying I was perfect, but I have gone out of my way to blow my nose as often as possible because I'm not getting a chest cold. That's the biggest piece of advice I can give you, is don't do that. Just don't do it. Just don't sniff when you have a cold. Just hunker down, lube up the nose, and blow your nose. Now I'm just gonna go in order of what I've got my notes here for what I like to do for like some preventative maintenance and some immune boosting stuff. So let me get a sip of my tea. It's very hot, and that's good. And that's something I don't have on here, but hot liquids is very good for you because it steams all that out. It gets everything flowing, and it can help with the congestion. I like to take really hot, like all the way hot showers. What I do is I crank the shower head so that it faces the wall, and I crank just only hot water. And then I let it steam up in the bathroom, and then I shut the door and put a towel under the crack of the door, and then I seal myself in with the plastic shower curtain, and then sit at the bottom of the shower away from the stream of water because I don't want to scald myself. And I just sit in there sometimes till the water runs cold, just to get the steam bath effect. It's kind of like sitting in a sauna, but it really helps a lot. And there's been times I do it more than once a day. The other thing I like to do, and I never really researched the science of that, is I have an electric blanket, and I will wrap up in that at night to try to cook a little of this out of me. Okay, so I know there's a lot of stuff on this table. The first thing I want to talk about are my supplements that I take. So none of these, I did a little bit of research on quality, but a lot of these are based on affordability and like milligrams or international units. So the first one is vitamin A. And this one's dry vitamin A. Okay, so vitamin A. The reason I started to take vitamin A was actually nothing to do with my immune system. That was just like a beautiful side effect or side, that. I actually take it for my skin because vitamin A is really good for the skin. But I'm going to tell you what vitamin A is good for as far as immunity goes. It's called the anti-infective vitamin because it's believed to be especially operative in the prevention of bacterial invasion in the mucous membrane. So this is really a preventative thing. And I only started taking vitamin A in pill form like 2 weeks before I got sick. Maybe not even that long. So I don't even know if it had time to really start to work. And nothing is foolproof. You're still going to eventually get sick. It also is believed to have an effect on the duration of the symptoms. So the next on my list is, I think, vitamin E. Yep. These always stick together, and that's like the most fun part of me grabbing the bottle, is to smack it and break them apart. Okay, so it says on the bottle it's for heart health. It's a potent antioxidant that supports heart, immune, and skin health. And this is another one that I started taking for my skin. I have been taking it longer than the vitamin A. So it actually decreases the likelihood of you even catching the common cold, and especially the symptoms being severe, by like 20% next to somebody who doesn't take vitamin E or vitamins whatsoever, doesn't have like a preventative regimen. That was a study, maybe I didn't put it in my notes, I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at notes. I think that was a study done in 2004. All I wrote was 2004. So it's immune boosting, basically. Maybe on my blog I'll put some more in-depth stuff about these notes here, because I feel like I'm not giving you a very good breakdown. Next on my list I have together in one, but I'm showing you this because of the zinc, but it's calcium, magnesium, and zinc. And this says it's good for bone and muscle health. Magnesium is important for healthy nerves and muscles, which is why I take this. It's supposed to be good for like your mental nerves, but also your physical nerves. And I've been taking a form of magnesium and zinc since the end of my college career, because at that time I was really looking for something to help with my achy joints. My notes say zinc for the cold has the ability to, I think it was vitamin E or A, now I don't even remember. It speeds up the process, so your body fights the cold off faster and the symptoms don't persist for as long. Next is vitamin C, because I guess I wasn't OCD enough to put these in alphabetical order. Oh, this is the one that I have. And then I have another one too, because my wonderful mother made me a care package and she gave me a whole new bottle of vitamin C. So I've been taking vitamin C regularly since I was in high school, because I was a choir stud in high school, and my director, she was like really big on us taking vitamin C. And then I took emergency every single day in college. And I really think that makes a big difference in getting sick, because I didn't get as sick as much in college as I did like after college when I was working in bars and smoking all the time. And like, I don't mean to preach about quitting smoking, but dude, if you smoke, you need to quit smoking. Vitamin C helps with so many things, but it's so good for just supporting your immune system, boosting your immune system. But the thing with vitamin C is it's not fat soluble. Basically, you just pee it out if you have too much. So you can't OD on vitamin C. I should put in a thing. I found a thing once. If I can find it again, I'll pop it in. But it was like saying, like, everybody thinks of oranges as being high in vitamin C, but there are so many other fruits that are even higher in vitamin C. Like, I think guava is the #1. I'm not sure. You should just take lots of vitamin C all the time. It's so good for you. It's really good for your skin too, but we're not talking about skin. So my notes say that vitamin C doesn't necessarily decrease the duration of the cold, but it definitely has an effect on the severity of the cold. So that's good to know. And I think I got most of these statistics just real quick from WebMD, because I was being lazy about getting my information together for you. Next is vitamin D, or this is a D3 supplement, so I guess I double up on that, but I don't care. So this says help maintain strong bones and muscles, help support immune, colon, and breast health. I guess I never realized that vitamin D was good for breast health. Cool. Back to vitamin C really quick. Vitamin C is also super good for diabetics, and something about the way the molecule is built on vitamin C mimics a molecule of insulin. So it's a really good vitamin to have in your arsenal if you are diabetic. I am not a doctor. I should put that all over this video. I am not a doctor.
Hey guys, real quick, I just wanted to jump in and let you know that I gave you a slight bit of misinformation. Vitamin C does not mimic insulin molecules, it mimics the glucose molecules. So I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can read about it a little more, because I am not well versed enough in it to speak to you about it, but you should definitely read this article if you have any interest in it, or if you are diabetic yourself.
According to my notes, vitamin D is fat soluble. So fat soluble means that the extra is stored in your fat. And so if you, I'm not saying OD on vitamin D, but if you live in North America, you are probably vitamin D deficient, just hands down. Even if you're outside all day long, like, you just probably are vitamin D deficient, because your body creates vitamin D as a reaction with the sun, like a plant creates chlorophyll. Kind of, not really, but like that's the best way I can explain it on a non-science level. Basically, it's good to have a lot of vitamin D in your body, because when you get sick and those stores start to deplete, you've got that in there to like release and help support your blood with all the extra white blood cells you're creating. I have to sneeze, sorry. You guys like this Kleenex jar? My friend made it for me for, I was gonna say a Halloween present, but it was a Christmas present a couple of years ago. And you have to put a special kind of Kleenex in there that comes like in a tube. Anyway. Okay, and last but not least, I want to talk about Echinacea. It's like one of the most famous, like, holistic herbs to take for the immune system. So we just take this Echinacea. Echinacea is a flowering plant. I'll probably put it, because I was going to show you the picture on the bottle, but what I'd rather do is just put a picture up for you. They're also known as cone flowers, and you might see them just like in wildflower mixes and stuff. Pause. Don't not drink water. Drink all the water. Stay hydrated when you have a cold. Echinacea and things that I didn't bust out. Ooh, I should go get it actually. But like herbal remedies for colds actually really help, because what those things do are they like increase your circulation and lower inflammation in your body, which gives your body an ideal condition to create antibodies in. So this is fire cider, and I don't know. It's just, the problem is it's not ready. Like, I could be drinking this, but it hasn't fermented for long enough. But I made this. It has locally grown. Okay, everything is locally grown except for a couple things, and I'll tell you. So locally grown onions, garlic, tons of hot peppers, like just all the hot peppers I could find at the farmer's market when I made this. It has cinnamon sticks, it has anise, stars. There's a dangerous squirrel in the yard. Lemons, ginger, horseradish, turmeric. Oh, and apple cider vinegar that I made. Duh. So you let this ferment for about a month or so, and then you put like you get all the, and black peppercorn. You get all the stuff out of it, and you put a strong amount of local honey in there, and then you have fire cider, and you drink like a shot a day or whatever when you're sick. But I'm just real irritated that it didn't get done in time. But speaking of that, some other things I want to talk about are local honey. Local honey is so good for you for so many reasons, but especially if you have allergies or sickness, because it's made from the natural flora around you. It also is antibacterial, and you can use it to coat your throat, to gargle. I like to make a concoction with just like chunks of ginger root, lemon, and honey and hot water, but I don't have that. I'll tell you what I have been drinking. But also, a local gal makes this elderberry syrup, and I mean, look at that. That is elderberry syrup, and it has local honey, elderberry flowers, elderberry berries, water, of course. I cannot remember the one other ingredient that's in it because I don't have the little tag she gave me, but you're supposed to take like a teaspoon of this a day, and then a tablespoon of it like 3 to 5 times a day when you're sick. And I'll tell you what, I just put like half a shot glass full and put it down the hatch, and it feels really, it's like you can almost feel it working. It feels so good. The other thing you can feel working, well, actually, back up. I told you I'd tell you about what I've been drinking. So I've actually been drinking these together. Like, I have 2 bags of each and a bunch of honey in this. This is traditional medicinals, Gypsy cold care tea. And this one is Celestial Seasoning Teas, Mama Bear's Cold Care. So the Gypsy Cold Care has, I guess it's top secret, maybe. Okay, so it says, when the cold hits, we always turn to immune-boosting herbs like elderflower, sustainably harvested from the pristine wild collection areas of Europe and blended with yarrow and peppermint. This time-tested tea has made winter wellness only a cup away for over 4 decades. Sip all day long, and I have been. So, Celestial Seasonings tea is made, I think, in Colorado, and it's so good, and I love it so much. And these are vintage boxes, and it was like super funny because I saw this at the Walmart because they're like limited edition vintage boxes, and I was like, that's the one, I need to get that. I know I need it, and then I got sick like super soon after that. This says, when the days turn cold, warm up with Mama Bear's Cold Care. This comforting blend features soothing herbs and botanicals like invigorating peppermint, warm licorice root, and eucalyptus. The koala bear's favorite. Mama Bear can't make winter end sooner, but her tea can help take away some of winter's chill. And I'm telling you, you mix these two together and you feel pretty stinking good for having a cold. Chicken soup, and actually, I didn't realize, I knew that was just like a thing, like a comfort thing. And I thought like the hot water helps and stuff, but there's some science behind chicken soup being good for a cold. And I was curious about it. I have several boxes of this in my pantry. It's Manischewitz matzo ball soup. I was curious about it after I had made some the other night, and it made me feel really, really, really good. And so I looked it up, and I'll tell you what I found out. I didn't realize there was like so much science to it. Okay, so the hot soup helps break up the congestion associated with both colds and the flu. The salt in the soup and its warmth can soothe the sore throat. It has anti-inflammatory properties, which can relieve congestion. It keeps you hydrated. There's compounds with the chicken and the garlic that help with the anti-inflammatory as well, and there's carbohydrates usually. You know, like you got noodles or stars or matzo balls or dumplings. You usually aren't just drinking like a cup of salty broth, which would probably be better than nothing, but probably not what you're trying to go for when you're getting chicken soup. It's just like overall good for you. So like this says something on it like perfectly prepared bubby style, which is like, I believe, grandmother in Yiddish or something like that. Yeah, it says right on here, Jewish grandmothers known as bubby in Yiddish. Because this is like a traditional Passover meal. This stuff is like magic. So it's a couple bucks a box. I think when I got it on sale, I got it for 75 cents a box. You can get just the soup mix, you can get just the matzo ball mix, you can get vegan or vegetarian or whatever, you can get gluten-free, you can get so many different kinds of it, and it tastes so good. And it's so good for you. So there's no reason to not to. Okay, now, a couple other things are like eucalyptus, right? We talked a little bit about that in the tea. But I like to diffuse eucalyptus oil in my diffuser, and I use a lot of Vicks Vapor Rub, which is eucalyptus and mentholatum. And I am a rule breaker. I don't have no 5-year-old children, so I don't worry about it. But I just stick that stuff right up under my nose. I'm not about to put it on my chest and put my shirt on and get under the covers and expect it to work. Because on the chest, it's supposed to heat up and send the vapors up to your face. They don't want you to put it on your nose because it could be like suffocating. Well, it's not suffocating, so I'm gonna put it on my nose. I take a Q-tip and I get like right up under the nostril. Did you know that Listerine was originally sold as like a cold cure? You're supposed to gargle it. That's an antiseptic. It's supposed to like kill off the viruses in your throat and stuff. And I'm talking this nasty crap, the nasty brown stuff. This is store brand, because you should know that regular Listerine costs like 5 times as much. I gargle with this a lot, and that seems to feel better too. It just tastes so bad. And then the last thing is hand sanitizer, which I didn't set out, and Lysol. And I do that to be a cool roommate to my dude, because not only is he just a germaphobe in general, I don't think that, I mean, it's kind of inevitable if you think about it for the household to get the sickness that one person brings home. And it's nobody's fault, it just is what it is. But I know how miserable I am, and I don't want him to feel that way, so I've washed our bedding every day. I spray the house down with Lysol, use hand sanitizer, I don't kiss him, you know, we try really hard. And it might not be a perfect plan, but it helps, or at least it makes me feel better about not spreading and being diligent and conscious about it. And the last thing I'll say is, I have been getting sent home from work or told not to come into work. Maybe I should have just been talking this whole time because I feel like my voice is getting better. But don't go to work if you're sick. So yeah, that's my preach at the end. I have to go. I'm gonna go get into one of those hot steam showers because my muscles hurt and I'm running out of energy to talk to the kids. We're just not happy that we have the camera on.